hyperbole. This is not us just making it up or just pushes it. This is what the data's saying. The data's saying that children who go to those schools, that's what their lives look like. And it doesn't mean that they're less intelligent. That's the part that drives me crazy. I say to people, poverty doesn't matter. Oh, these white liberals get mad, and these whack intellectuals, they're black, but they want to be, so this is whack. And then there's whack nationalists, they get in there and they're just so, you don't understand poverty. I don't understand poverty. Really, I don't. Please explain it to me.
So, and that goes back, and what you're saying is oftentimes placing blame on the financial circumstances for the reason acceleration in life can't take place.
I don't know. So here's what it is. To this day, I don't know how much your parents made. Nor do I really care. You told me you went to a school that prepared you. We're not talking about how much your parents made or didn't make. That's inconsequential. Just because I don't know what your parents made, but they seem to have done all right. How much a parent makes does not determine how intelligent a child is. And what's so bananas about this, what's just so sickening, is to hear people who are supposed to be, in many cases, Black, Latino intellectuals jumping behind this wall of shame that we put on our own people. Like, man, see, y'all broke. They ain't never. And we try to pawn it off like we're being revolutionaries. There's nothing revolutionary about telling people that they're stuck. You know what's revolutionary saying? You ain't stuck. You and me, we getting out of here.
And there's nothing revolutionary about placing blame on the same people that have been oppressing us. If we're not going to take responsibility and action for ourselves and figure out how to win, we talk about this on the show a lot. I always find myself speaking on not waiting for this government or any government to come save us.
I wrote a book, Man Up, Nobody's Coming to Save Us.
There you go.
Because, we could want that, but while you
and we
wait,
can point fingers all day.
Right.
You did this to us, and
and
you're doing
true.
this, and it's facts. But guess what? We just going to sit around and wait? Because even when they owe you, you got to still go take it.
Listen, you got to grind out. I'm an African-American who started a school in the hood because I believed in my community. And I'm here to tell you that every single person told me it couldn't happen. And most of the people who told me it couldn't happen were us, Black people, Latinos. The city had a Latino mayor, Latino and Black city council, Latino and Black, I think there were 1 or 2 white people on the board of education, but they were such a minority, they weren't going to raise up on anything, you know what I mean? They were like, whatever y'all say, we're cool with, because they were those liberal ones, you know what I'm saying? Those people, those were the people who, our people, were the ones saying, man, these kids don't even want to go to college. How could you say that, man? Like, how are we even having that conversation? The way we got the first school started, true story.
And this was Capital Prep.
Capital Prep in Hartford. The way we got the first school started was I had to convince everyone it wasn't going to.
All right, so we got Dr. Steve Perry here. He is an educator and whatnot. I'm sure people know who he is by now. He's been taking a lot of flack on social media the last few months. Probably always has. He's an educator. When it comes to school choice and things of that nature, I support him and I'm behind him 100%. When it comes to that, I don't agree with him on one point on that, and I'll probably do that in a different video. Just a small minor point where I don't agree with him on that issue. But when it comes to school choice and pointing out how the unions are about their these teacher unions, how they are about their paper and not really about the children and the education of the kids and whatnot, he's excellent at doing that. So he's no friend of Black academia, Black liberals, Black the bourgeoisie, the ivory tower Negroes, the Black intellectuals. They're no fan of him because he points out the effort that they're on and how they're not doing anything to help these children when it comes to education. But I know when he announced that he was having a school a couple months back with Diddy, which does sound suspect. I can't even front the fact that Diddy's involved with it, but he's doing a school right now in Harlem. He has I think 2 in Connecticut. I think he oversees 1 somewhere else. But this is a brother that has done the hard work, the heavy lifting, graduated, went to school, came back to the hood, didn't have to, could have went to the corporate America thing and made a lot of paper, chose not to do that, and he's getting a lot of criticism. Now, when he tweeted the thing about the Army with Steve Harvey and all that, I already knew just the way it was worded that he was going to get some backlash and flag for it, but I don't think it was that deep. I think it was a specific situation where he was talking to some young boys, and again, I don't think he should have tweeted it because of the backlash, which is it's just silly. But now there's articles about him selling black children out and respectability politics and this and that, like as if he's saying that, you know, pulling up your pants and, you know, not wearing hoodies is not going to get you shot. Like you know, you can't prove a negative, right? Yet they're making arguments against his one tweet that he's not even making. Now, is he Malcolm X? Is he on? He's definitely not Dr. Boyce Watkins, who did a video with his new bae, Zaza Ali, where they both critiqued his comments. And it's like this, like, black folks are dependent on other people for their economic survival. And they have their own set of rules and codes of conduct that if you want to be involved in their environment, you got to follow them. That's just how it is. Now, it's cool to go on some Dr. Boyce Watkins and do your own thing, which is the goal. But in the meantime, these kids need solutions and things right now. So what do? And I think it's silly that he's getting a lot of backlash. You know, the black feminists call him a misogynist. I don't even know where that came from, what instance that caused that to happen. But, you know, it's just like he's getting a lot of flack and deterrence. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, we talk about people who hit you with well, what are you doing type stuff. And, you know, he's not Dr. Umar Johnson, right? He's got his schools done. He's got 2 down, and he's building his 3rd. I think it's probably a 4th, but it's not his. He helped build it or whatever. He's done the research. He's looked at the data. He's proven successful, and there's still questions. He even said himself that, you know, after all the stuff he's done, instead of getting congratulations and, you know, people asking him from here, meaning other black folks, and he includes Latinos, because we do that thing where we add them to us. But he was saying, like, those were the biggest deterrents in what he was doing, and people who were stopping him, the black educators and the black and Latino mayors and stuff like that. Of course, the white liberals, of course, too. But it's just silly to me. Like, this is what it looks like when you actually do something, right? He's done it, and yet there's still, he's been, not only has he done it, but he has a school for 12-year track record, 100% of the graduation rates. He took a school with kids who didn't do cross-country track, build them up from the bottom where they were a good team. Has, you know, football team that won a championship, basketball team, girls won 4. Like, he did all that with his school that wasn't doing anything. And, you know, it took time to get there, but he took a lot of the kids that weren't performing well in other schools, or not because of the kids weren't smart or the kids couldn't do it, but because the school wasn't offering what they needed. But I just think that's interesting that, you know, people are still stuck on the tweet about the haircuts with Steve Harvey and all that, which was, you know, a month ago. Yet this man is still moving on to his 3rd school. And it's like, that's something you got to recognize. Even if you are out there doing the right thing and you're getting shit done, if it's not with certain narratives or certain, you know, people's views of how they wanted to get done, and I'm specifically speaking about black intellectuals, black liberals, the Ivory Tower folks, the Melissa Harris, who last names Perry's, and the Joy Reeds, all that, the Al Sharptons, those are probably going to be your biggest, you know, people who get in your way, along with white liberals. And he's proven himself to be good. So, I don't know, that's just my video. I think that the attacks on him are silly. They're unfounded. Dr. Boyce Watkins does a video with Zaza, and I'm like, he's not YouTube, right? He's not on that pro. I mean, he speaks about white supremacy, racism, and all that stuff. He just doesn't make excuses for it. You know, he's saying regardless of that, we still got to move, and he's been moving, and he's successful at it. And yet, there's nothing but still criticisms of his work. And I'm like, well, you've had the kids all this time, and you haven't proven to show us that you can do better. They haven't done it, and yet he's still doing it. And I don't know. Yvette Cornell, like, she just, I have respect for her because, like Steve Perry, she does also call out the black bourgeoisie. She does call out black liberals, even though she's a leftist in politics and ideology. I respect that about her, about Dr. Tommy Curry, about her, a couple other people. Kind of, so maybe a little bit Benjamin Dixon, a little bit, but he's still Team Obama and all that nonsense. But these are black people who are leftists in their worldview, They believe in socialistic communist policies. They don't believe that black folks can do things without white people helping them or the government making white people do it for them, right? But I respect about them is that they deal with the arena that they're in. So they'll call out the effery that black leftists get into. Is a whole bunch of information and data out there to tell you Republicans are racist, they hate black people, yada yada yada. But there's not a lot of stuff information where black people rest their head at night, and all the effort that goes on over there, and all the abuse and all the things that are done policy wise that hurt black children. And I respect that about those people, even though I don't agree with them ideology wise. I respect that they deal with those avenues, but it does seem that because Yvette Cornell is a statist and she doesn't believe in capitalism, she thinks it's evil. So she's attacking, Dr. Steve Perry because his schools are charter schools, which are just public schools, but they operate under different mandates as far as how they move and how they deal with children. They give more leeway to the parents, and the teachers can get fired when they suck, and parents have more input. But of course, unions and teachers don't like that because they claim it's taking away our money and all this other stuff, which money's not the issue, which he proves is not about the money. Because if you look at the amount of money that private schools and some of these Catholic schools spend per capita on kids, even the success of homeschooling, they're not spending nearly as much, half the amount of money that public schools are using to not get any results at all. But I'll probably do more videos on school choice and things that I've been seeing going on in New York. And politically wise, I think that there are certain things that black people, because there's this video of Michael Eric Dyson talking about black people voting against their interests, and a lot of black people share that video on YouTube and whatnot, like, them poor white folks need to, stop voting against their own interests. And I'm like, why are you worried about them when black folks vote against their own interests? And there's a few I'm going to speak on. One is gun control, one is school choice, one is immigration. Those are future videos that will come, break them down individually. But yeah, it's crazy that this is what it looks like when you are successful and you handling your business, you doing things, you get some success and credibility. You got people in China and different countries coming to check you out and see what's good, but your own people, they the biggest haters you got. They're the biggest barriers you got. They're in your way, calling you, over silly stuff, respectability politics, and these made up words that liberals use, and the black feminists are, oh, he's a misogynist. I even seen a dude. Some chick posted the article today, and one of the comments from the dude was like, I hate this guy. He's such a misogynist. And I'm like, where, how, what? Like, prove it. Even if he was, I wouldn't give a care. But this is what happens though, right? Don't be an unapologetic. I guess he's black man, and handle your business with not with even snapping back. Like, he gets shots at all day on Twitter. He reposts his, when people come at him on Twitter, he reposts it on Facebook every day. And I don't see him really engaging in them people. He don't even really respond to people who comment on his page that when he asks questions. But every day is like the same arguments from people who aren't producing anything. And he's produced it already, which is mind-boggling to me that you could do the hard work, heavy lifting, come back to the hood, do that thing that black men, know that if you're going to help the hood, you're going to lose money. You're not going to do as well as you could do. The same thing that Dr. Boyce Watkins talks about that he does by leaving corporate America and doing your own thing. And then to still have all these barriers from the same people, children you're trying to help in the community you say you're trying to do something for.
That people don't have a nuanced understanding of racial dynamics in this country. That's assuming that activists who are on the ground don't understand the intra and interracial politics as they coexist and that they harm African Americans.
How have they improved the situations?
So what do you mean how have they improved the
Gladly. You're in Philadelphia. You have one of the highest murder rates in the country. How has this conversation stopped that? How has it improved?
Okay, well,
because I want there to be something more than just conversation.